Good day, and welcome to Watch Unveil. There exists a secret that the world's most discerning collectors will never openly admit, yet governs every decision they make. Not every Rolex is created equal. Some are icons, others are merely expensive. And in 2026, knowing the difference is not just about taste. It is about legacy. Before we dive into this world of luxury, let me share something that might surprise you. 92% of you watching right now have not subscribed to this channel. If you value knowledge that honors the craft, I invite you to subscribe. One click that costs absolutely nothing but supports everything we do. That is all it takes. Now, back to the main topic. Today, we are exploring 5 Rolex watches that collectors buy in 2026. Watch till the end because the final watch on this list is the one most people overlook, and that mistake costs them more than money. Let's begin where all great journeys begin. Number 5. The Rolex GMT-Master II. The GMT-Master II remains one of the most desirable steel Rolex watches in 2026. The red and blue bezel is instantly recognizable, but more importantly, it has decades of history behind it. Picture this. It is 1954. Commercial aviation is exploding. Pilots are crossing time zones faster than their bodies can adapt, faster than their minds can calculate. Pan American World Airways approaches Rolex with a problem that seems impossible. Create a watch that can track 2 time zones simultaneously without sacrificing legibility or reliability. Rolex does not just solve the problem. They redefine what a tool watch can be. The GMT Master is born. Fast forward to 2026, and the GMT Master II remains one of the most functionally brilliant watches Rolex has ever produced. But that is not even the best part. What makes this watch transcendent is how it balances hardcore utility with unmistakable style. The independently adjustable hour hand, the 24-hour graduated bezel, the ability to track 3 time zones if you know how to read it properly. This is not a watch. This is a navigator's instrument that happens to look stunning under a suit cuff. But here's what the spec sheet will not tell you. Collectors hoard it because they understand something fundamental about value. True icons never depreciate. They appreciate, both financially and culturally. If you thought a pilot's watch was impressive, stick around, because what comes next changed motorsport forever. Number 4. The Rolex Cosmograph Daytona. In 2026, the Daytona is not just a chronograph. It is the chronograph. The reference 116500LN, with its black Cerachrom bezel and white dial, is the contemporary icon that collectors dream about and authorized dealers laugh about because the waiting list is measured in years, not months. Inside beats the Caliber 4130, a manufactured chronograph movement that is as robust as it is refined. 44 joules, 72 hours of power reserve, and a chronograph mechanism so reliable that Rolex offers a 5-year warranty without hesitation. Rolex created this chronograph masterpiece in 1963, purpose-built for professional race car drivers competing at Florida's legendary Daytona International Speedway. The tachymeter scale on the bezel allows you to measure average speeds up to 400 kilometers per hour. The oyster case is water-resistant to 100 meters. The oyster steel construction resists corrosion like few alloys can. But these are just numbers. Let me tell you what the Daytona really is. It is the watch of arrival. You do not buy a Daytona when you are climbing. Entrepreneurs wear it to remind themselves what is possible. Athletes wear it because champions recognize champions. And investors buy it because few assets combine wearability with value retention quite like a stainless steel Daytona. Now you might ask, if the Daytona is the watch of champions, what watch belongs to explorers? Brace yourself, because this next one quite literally changed history. Number 3. The Rolex Explorer. What makes the Explorer extraordinary in 2026 is its versatility. This is the one-watch collection, the timepiece that works equally well on a hiking trail, in a boardroom, at a wedding, or exploring ruins in a forgotten corner of the world. It does not scream. This is Rolex at its purest. No complications. No unnecessary flourishes. Just a watch designed to survive conditions that would destroy lesser timepieces and lesser men. The current reference, 124270, introduced as a modern interpretation of the original 36mm case size, is a masterclass in restraint. It is smaller than most modern sports watches, yes, but that is precisely the point. Crafted in oyster steel, it houses the caliber 3230 movement with approximately 70 hours of power reserve. The Paraflex shock absorbers protect the movement from impacts that would shatter conventional watches. Water-resistant to 100 meters. Chromolite display with long-lasting blue luminescence for legibility in darkness. And that dial, with its Mercedes hands and 369 Arabic numerals, is so clean, so legible, so purposeful that it borders on the philosophical. But that is not even the best part. If you thought exploration was impressive, wait until you see what Rolex created for those who venture even deeper into the abyss. Number 2. The Rolex Submariner. Let's talk about dominance. Not the temporary kind, not the fashionable kind, the kind that lasts 70 years and still feels contemporary. The Rolex Submariner, introduced in 1953, did not just create a category. It became the category. Every dive watch that followed is measured against it, judged by it, and ultimately found wanting. Why? Because the Submariner is the perfect convergence of form and function. It is simultaneously a professional diving instrument and a style icon. It is James Bond's watch in multiple films. It is the watch that presidents and plumbers both respect. And in 2026, it remains utterly essential. The reference 126610LN, the Note 8 Submariner in oyster steel, is what perfection looks like when you strip away everything unnecessary. 41 millimeters of purpose, water-resistant to 300 meters. The Cerachrom bezel insert, virtually scratch-proof and fade-proof, with its luminescent capsule at 12 o'clock. And inside, the caliber 3230 movement, delivering 70 hours of power reserve with Rolex's superlative chronometer certification, meaning it maintains accuracy to plus or minus 2 seconds per day after casing. If you thought that was impressive, wait until you hear about number 1, because what I am about to reveal is the Rolex that most people misunderstand, and that misunderstanding is costing them the opportunity of a lifetime. Number 1, the Rolex Datejust. I know what you're thinking. The Datejust? Really? That is the watch your father wore. That is the watch middle managers wear. That is not a collector's piece. That is not special. And that is exactly why you are wrong. Let me educate you on something that separates novices from connoisseurs. The Rolex Datejust, introduced in 1945, is not just a watch. It is the watch. It is the most successful wristwatch design in the history of mechanical horology. More Datejusts have been produced more than any other Rolex model. And in 2026, the Datejust remains the single smartest Rolex purchase you can make. Here's why. The reference 126234, the 36mm Datejust with a fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet, is the platonic ideal of a luxury watch. It is sized correctly for traditional proportions. It is dressy enough for black tie, yet casual enough for weekend wear. It is recognizable without being ostentatious. And it possesses something that no Submariner, no Daytona, no GMT-Master can claim: true universal versatility. This is the watch that presidents receive when they take office. This is the watch that appears in more boardrooms, more red carpets, more moments of significance than any other timepiece in existence. The fluted bezel, originally functional for waterproofness and now purely aesthetic, catches light like few design elements can. The Cyclops lens over the date window, a Rolex innovation from 1953, magnifies the date by 2.5 times for instant legibility. The oyster steel and white gold combination offers durability and refinement in equal measure. And the Jubilee bracelet, with its 5-piece link design, is arguably the most comfortable bracelet Rolex has ever created. So there you have it. 5 Rolex watches that define excellence in 2026. The GMT-Master II for the global citizen. The Daytona for the champion. The Explorer for the adventurer. the Submariner for the professional, and the Datejust for the wise. But here is the truth that nobody wants to tell you. Choosing a Rolex is not about specifications or investment potential. Choosing a Rolex is about understanding who you are and who you want to become. Now you might ask, which one should you buy? Only you can answer that. Until next time, this is Watch Unveil, where every second counts and every story matters.